Hey guys, this is a school project. This is my presentation to introduce and compare the Narrabeen man and Otzi the Iceman. Let's get into it. So, according to Google, Narrabeen man's corpse is around 4,000 years old and was discovered to be 30 to 40 years old when he died. With that aside, let's move on to Otzi. Otzi's corpse is around 5,300 years old, also being the oldest preserved human being ever found. Isn't that crazy? As said before, Narrabeen's corpse is around 4,000 years old, and Otzi's corpse is around 5,300 years old. So, their age difference is huge, approximately 1,500 years apart. Moving on, now I'll be talking about where they were found. On January 2005, Narrabeen man's skeleton was discovered by contractors. Those contractors were digging for electricity cables, so Narrabeen man was found during roadworks. But what about Otzi? Well, on the 19th of September 1991, Otzi was discovered by two snow hikers at the east ridge of the Finnilspitze in the Otzi Alps, on the Austrian-Italian border. Both Helmut and Erika Simon thought Otzi was just an unlucky snow hiker. But the corpse looked a bit odd. Archaeologists examined the body and realized the body is over 5,000 years old. So, in conclusion, Narrabeen man's corpse was found by contractors in Sydney on January 2005. On the other hand, Otzi's corpse was found in the Otzi Alps on 19th September 1999. Now I'll be talking about when they died. Mention how old their corpse is, but when did they originally die? We know Narrabeen man's corpse is around 4,000 years old. I also mentioned that he was suspected to be around 30 to 40 years old when he died. But what about Otzi? We already know that Otzi's corpse is roughly around 5,300 years old. Except, we don't know when he died. But from the research I've gathered, he died around the age of 45. In conclusion, Narrabeen man died around the age of 30 to 40 years old. And on the other hand, Otzi the Iceman died at about the age of 45. Moving on, now I'm going to be talking about how they died. There is no conclusive evidence to why Narrabeen man was killed. It was suggested that it was a ritualistic murder. The injuries indicate that he was murdered by a group of people. He was also found with wounds at the front and back. A spear was also located in his spine and also had a head injury. Otzi was also murdered. He was found with an arrowhead in his left shoulder. Some states that he was hit by the arrow and had a massive bleeding. Before death, he suffered heart disease, joint pain, tooth decay, and Lyme disease. So in conclusion, both were murdered, both were attacked by spears, and both had head injuries before death. Okay, so now I'll be talking about what their life was probably like. What was life like 4,000 to 5,000 years ago? Well, fish was discovered to be found inside Narrabeen man, which gives us a clue to what his life was like 4,000 years ago, meaning that he must have lived by the sea all his life. But what about Otzi? Otzi was likely a farmer of a shepherd. It was between Copper and Bronze Age at the time. So, Narrabeen man has lived by the sea all his life, according to his diet. And Otzi the iceman was a farmer of a shepherd, because of the items found on his body. Moving on, how were they preserved? The warm and dry sand that covered the 4,000-year-old body is what preserved the skeletons. But Otzi fell into a small gully surrounded by large rocks. Immediately after his death, it was filled with snow, preserving the body and artifacts.
Of us began to blur. Such a waste of time. Prefer her as such a waste of rhymes. And just need the words to say. Oh yes, just say them. You will always be what you always were. Can't dance or kill away.